Tobias, can you talk about what it's like to play two drastically different roles and what you put into, are there sort of small choices that you made to make sure that Frank and Blackjack were so different? And are we going to see more of Frank moving forward?
Not in this second half of the first season, but he will come back in season 2.
Okay.
I think, playing these two different people, something Ron said when I first met him stayed with me throughout filming, which is he was as interested in what was similar about the two people as what was different about them. And I think that's been a touchstone throughout filming. But mainly, Diana's created two really brilliant characters, and so, I think you'll agree. And so most of it was, to honour these people, and people say, how do you go about sort of making them different? Mainly it was really just you sort of try and serve the scene and the story, what you're filming, and trust that the production and the costuming and all that will do a lot of the work for you. I think I was really keen for it to be a subtle difference rather than, someone with a limp or something, just to make it really clear.
That's kind
Maybe, but I find it a hard question to answer, really, because it has felt quite an intuitive process, really, rendering these two people. But mainly, a lot of it is done by the writing and the production and the costuming, and,
I remember going down when you were being fitted for your costumes for Frank and for Jack. My wife, Terry Dresbeck's the costume designer. And she called me down when they were fitting you for both characters, and I remember being struck by the fact when I walked in and you were trying on the fedora and the jacket for Frank. I was like, oh, that's interesting. He's looking in the mirror, and we were talking about the costume, and then I went away and was doing other stuff, and she called later and said, okay, he's doing Jack. So I came into the fitting room. There's this big three-way mirror standing there, and you were standing in the red coat. And as I walked in, I just was like, oh, he's standing differently. And it was just like you were looking at yourself in the mirror, and the way your body language was, and you were just a different person.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting, just visually, like immediately, there was like a delineation between the two characters.
Yeah, I think the costuming and Terry's work, I did feed off that quite a lot, actually. She's done an amazing job, and that helped me hugely, I think, getting into them. Yeah.